Springfield Road, it's something that we've talked about for years, needing improved. The problem is, as long of a road as it is, that and with having the hill, it's very expensive.
We'll be working on Springfield Road from Main Street to city limits south of Moeller Road. So the entire length of Springfield Road that's within the city limits. We'll be milling and overlaying the entire roadway surface. We'll be replacing water mains. Ameren will be replacing gas mains. We'll also be repairing and replacing curb and working on erosion issues with storm sewers.
I've worked on various parts of Springfield Road throughout my 30-year career here, and it's exciting that it's all going to be done at one time. There's a lot of moving parts to this. This is a major artery. We have about 5 major arteries in East Peoria. Springfield Road is one of those major arteries. Springfield Road, I think of Cole Street, I think of Bloomington Road, I think of Route 8, I think of Centennial. Those are some of those major arteries that we look at. There's an immense amount of traffic that comes along there.
Yeah, Springfield Road is one of the major thoroughfares through the city. It's the back door to the city. There's approximately 7,000 vehicles a day that travel Springfield Road. There's a couple schools in the area. There's several businesses in the area, and a lot of residential homes in the area that travel the roadway.
If you can imagine what it's like from Thanksgiving to New Year's with the Festival of Lights, there's a lot of people that traverse this road.
Springfield Road is one of those that we knew it was on the horizon. Honestly, it's one of those roads that we've talked about for years. We knew it was coming.
The pavement surface is what's really deteriorating, and that's because of a lot of reasons. It's because it's older, it's because of drainage, it's because of continuous repairs to utilities and stuff like that. So if we were to do nothing, we would continue to patch it and take care of the pavement.
This is a good example, okay? We came in here, I think it was about 10 years ago, and put all this crack filling in here. So it's to the point in this particular section where you can't crack fill anymore. It's already a spider web of crack filling. And so something has to be done. So then you look at, okay, what do I want to do to that? You can heat scarify and seal coat. That's not really a great option for this roadway with this amount of traffic. It's a cheaper option, but it's not a great option for the amount of traffic that this has. So then you look at overlaying the road. New blacktop. This state had actually redone this portion of the road, this bridge, I'd say about 7 years ago or so. So this is in pretty good shape. The hill section that we first came up as you're going up the hill, that's very bad, and this is very bad also. This is probably one of the worst in the city as far as a rating. We intend to widen this road as much as we can, and you can see that, especially on this side, all the potholes and where people got off, and if we can give them a little more width, especially in this curve, you can see all the people that have, and trucks and stuff that have gotten off the edge of the road, just created some craters there that need to be addressed. And so we think that if we can widen that as much as we can, it will help that situation. So this is one of those areas where you really get off. If we would get out and look at that, that's probably a 3-inch drop. And then it gets pretty bad right here. That's probably a 5-inch drop.
I would say 2006 maybe is when the hill was resurfaced, and there were portions of Springfield Road then that were identified as they needed to look at it. Now, fortunately, it's a very wide road, so I think some of the damage is over that surface, so it hasn't been one pothole after another, but recent years it's become more and more obvious that we needed to do something with it.
From time to time we have water main breaks and It seems like it never fails that when we patch or pave an area that a water main or something else breaks and they have to tear new pavement up and restore it. But it's mainly because of the age system.
So it's going to be an all-encompassing from Washington Street all the way out to the city limits, where the road will be improved. There's the water sewer lines will be improved, the curb and gutter where needed will be improved. Everything that has a surface the city should be responsible with. It feels like we're finally doing what we should be doing.
Okay, that's a great component to talk about, is how many utilities are in this area. And there's a water and a gas going on. So the yellow is gas, orange, I believe, is communication, and the blue is water. So we would often talk about a clown blowing up when you have that many flags out there. So all in all, we have like 6 different components. We have a contractor doing the curb, and then we're gonna have a contractor doing the pipe, and we're gonna have a contractor doing where it comes out into the hillside, and we're gonna have a contractor doing the paving, and then there's the water contractor who's gonna be doing work here, and then the gas contractor is the 6th one. If the stars align, we should be finished by November 1st.
So the thought is, why tear up a perfectly good water line? It's just sitting there. If it's not, if we're not having water main breaks, if we're not having a bunch of problems, why dig it up and put down another one when that water main may last not only this season, but the entire next season of road improvements? And that's what most towns do. They recognize, or they fix the water main sewer lines whenever they need to, but they don't, most can't afford to, when they're going to do a road, pick the entire thing up, replace everything underneath it, and then put it back down. That's another reason Springfield was identified as, you know, it needed a lot of those things, not just road surface or not just water line. It needed everything replaced.
So we got inlet to pipe, and then it comes out this way. So this is an issue. This is CMP pipe. That was metal pipe, corrugated metal pipe. That was probably put in 40 years ago, 30, 40 years ago, maybe even longer. And it rusts. Salt from the roads gets on there, metal rusts. It gets a hole in it and starts to undermine that. And then it causes issues as you go further and further downstream. It starts to pick up speed and then cuts that sand and loose soil out. So one of the things we'll be doing here is filling in that area, putting a liner through this pipe, so it's essentially a new pipe. We explain it to people like it's a sock going in there, and then it expands out and forms to the side of the pipe and creates a new pipe, which should last 80 years. This is a situation that is not unique to East Peoria, but East Peoria has a lot of these situations because of the topography of the East Peoria. We have a lot of hills, right? And many of these CMP pipes were put in, 40, 50 years ago, and they're supposed to have a 30-year lifespan. Well, if we don't go out and inspect them, we don't know that they're issue, but we know we have a lot of issues like this. You can see those posts right there were where the ground was at one time. And there's probably 15 feet of erosion that's happened through there, probably 20 feet, but 15 feet to just the bottom of the post. So we'll come in here, not only lining the pipe, but bringing this up and putting riprap back in here and try to sustain that so that nature will take back over, heal itself, and we can stop all of this erosion that's going down to the creek, which goes to the next creek, which goes to the Illinois River. I was just on a conference call this morning about a local creek where they're trying to get a handle on the amount of erosion and the water quality that comes through there. this is one of the problems, because all that material ends up downstream and then ends up in the Illinois River. And then we have a big delta out in the Illinois River where they can't traverse, and then it degrades the habitat quality and fish and wildlife. That metal pipes that I talked about are getting older and older and having more holes, and they're going to create situations like that. It's not going away. And so we need to dedicate some money to that before something bigger happens, before that starts eating towards closer and closer to a structure. And so we want to make sure that we address it as early as possible. But the problem is the cost. So that component right there is probably a $100,000 fix. Multiply that by just 10, you got $1 million. And it's not hard to spend the money. And not every contractor can do that. And this particular company that's been working with us has just been tremendous in trying to attack those type of problems at a reasonable price.
So yes, it is a big cost. And if we wait till next year, it'll be more expensive. And the following year, it'll be even more expensive.
The improvements should last 15 to 20 years. We're sure we'll get that kind of longevity out of it. There'll still be storm sewer stuff that pops up here and there that we got to work on, but for the most part, the paved surface, 15 to 20 years.
We've been doing this 30 years, and there's streets in East Peoria that I still haven't touched because of how much things cost.
Just because we are spending so much money on Springfield Road, we still have other maintenance work that we're going to be doing.
There's a lot of work going on this year. This year, East Washington, just down below Springfield Road at the bottom, will be worked on. That will be a mill and overlay. There'll also be sidewalk work done to bring sidewalks into ADA compliance. So that project has some grant funds going towards it. Veterans Bridge just off of Taylor Street near Bloomington Road will have work done to it. There's some pier work that we're going to do this year to fix that up. We're looking at, in the late season, Camp Street at Riverside Drive intersection improvements to improve the flow of traffic coming off of Riverside Drive onto Camp Street, and I believe that's just about it. Our wish list is to finish the final phase of Pinecrest concrete patching, which is phase 3, and then we want to look at Centennial Drive Hill again. It's getting rough, so we'll look at either a mill and overlay or a complete removal of the paved surface and the concrete and replacing it depending on funds.
Some of the places that I've heard about, and I'll give a little bit of a list, but there are many more. Obviously Pinecrest and Centennial Drive, Oakwood Road, Highview, Fond du Lac Drive starting to come up as well.
Centennial is, in my mind, one of the next ones that'll be up for, because of the amount of traffic that it has. Again, because it has a hill in it. And we overlaid that in 2008, and it looked great at that time. Typically, the hills will only last about 10 years. And so we're 6 years past that on Centennial. And so it's that road, in my mind, will be the next one on the list.
Just be patient. We'll, occasionally driveways will be blocked off. We'll provide temporary access and/or on-street parking so that there's always some place for somebody to park. It might be that there's no parking on one side of the street and you have to park on the other side of the street. But we'll do our best to make this whole process comfortable.
I beg for patience the best that they can. And even at times where you don't feel like you can be patient, don't take it out on the workers, because it is easy, having worked in traffic a lot of my life, it is easy to start being focused on your job. You always try to have your head on a swivel and watch the cars around you, but if you get involved in something, it's easy to be carrying something, lose your balance, and take a couple steps extra out into the roadway. It's easy to do. So I hope that when people are driving past, they are patient and drive slow, because the last thing I would want to happen is through this project for it to be marred with an injury, or heaven forbid, even worse. That we want to, a year from now, the project to be perfect, completed, and no one was hurt in the process.
So expect delays, please be patient, and we'll get it done. It'll be a nice new project when it's all done.
It's all going to be a unique situation for the city of East Peoria that I've ever been involved with, and we hope that it's a great success.